In April, when it started to warm up, that's when rocket season began. One of the first rocket attacks we had on Club Ghazni, the security forces guys were in between the B huts having some little hip pocket training class. And I remember hearing a weird, familiar noise that I couldn't put my finger on, and then all of a sudden, pop thud, we'd been hit with a rocket. I didn't even realize I was moving, and I was already almost in the bunker. Within a few seconds of sitting in the bunker, I was standing kind of on the edge. I noticed someone in the back bouncing around, just like I was. I heard a call for medic. I looked out. I could see a figure slumped over another figure. It was over near where the chapel was. I was trying to figure out a way to skirt around and make it over to them. I couldn't see anyone responding. I didn't know if two people had been hit, one person had been hit, or what was going on. I'm not a medic, I'm not a corpsman, but working in law enforcement and detention centers and being in for a while, I had some training and I could probably be helpful. But what if this wasn't the last rocket? I started planning a way to skirt around. And by the time I figured out my route, I looked back again in the back of the bunker to see if any medical personnel was there. And then I seen Specialist Caldwell, a first responder from the lower part of the state. A tanker from a tanker unit was on a Abrams, deployed with us. He had the training and could help. I just said go. He took off like a bat out of hell, made a beeline straight toward the casualty. Just like he should, but he should have skirted around. But as fast as he was running, I don't think a rocket could have caught him. I don't know what was going on. I can't remember. Everything's a blur. But somehow we ended up near the White House bunkers, and then we found out it was one of our own that had been hit. Petty Officer Seaborn, HM1, Corpsman, my bunkmate from Atterbury. When we first walked into the barracks at Camp Atterbury to train, I looked around and I could see nameplates attached on pieces of paper to bunks, and I seen an HM1. It's a Corpsman. It's a doc. I'll get along with this guy. He's basically a Marine. Hell, he is a Marine. It hurt. It really hurt to find out it was one of ours. Somehow I ended up with Petty Officer Prudhomme. We called him Baby Doc because he was just a little bit younger than Seaborn, which was the senior enlisted corpsman that we had. We went to go pack a bag. Seaborn was in surgery. We both had our armor on and our weapons because the base was under attack. And walked down the B hut. The B hut's locked, the door's locked with a basic hasp and a padlock. I struck the padlock a few times with the butt of my weapon, and it don't work like in the movies. Well, with a multi-tool, we popped the lock, got into his room. It was a somber feeling knowing you were packing a bag for somebody and you're in their private area without permission from them. But you have to do it. I know it needs to be done. Someone's going to come in and inventory all of his stuff. We tried to pack as much things as we could. I found an iPod and his laptop, pictures his kids have drawn. They definitely went in. We made our way back to the surgery center. Was in that area, and the CO said someone's going to need to escort him. Before he got it out of his mouth, I was volunteering. without even realize what I was volunteering for. Helicopters, hospitals, and the Holy Ghost. 3 things I fear the most. I'm going to have to deal with them all today. I had to stand outside of the surgery center and guard his belongings, his weapon, and then a surgeon stepped out. He started saying that he was going to be okay. We're getting him stitched up and patched up right now. We lost him for a bit, but we got his heart back going again. I knew this was bad. One of the new medics we had come in that very day, reported in that day, a corpsman, a Navy corpsman. She helped treat him right after he was hit. She met him that day. Welcome to Ghazni. Felt like forever waiting at the surgery center. But finally they were telling me it was time to go. I'm scared to death of helicopters. I hate those things. I was going to be in the trail helicopter. It was already dark. I couldn't see a thing. I hit the flight line. I could see where Seabourn was being loaded in to the bird in front of me. I couldn't find a flashlight on me. It was somewhere in my bag. I just reached in my pocket and grabbed my cigarette lighter and started striking it for permission to come aboard. I seen a light flash back from the cockpit. I go over. One of the gunners grabs me, helps me in the bird, gets me strapped in, tells me we're going to be moving fast. Oh, we were moving pretty fast. Like I said, I'm not a fan of helicopters. They scare me to death. I'm not afraid of flying. I just hate helicopters. Well, when we took off, the pilot went nose down. You could see the instrument panel and the windscreen and the ground. And it was moving faster and faster and faster. We were screaming out of Ghazni, heading to Bagram in the middle of the night. It was crazy. I found out the chapel had caught on fire and pretty much burned down. As we're approaching Bagram, I dug my fingers into the Black Hawk seat. We land, come up by the hospital, near the emergency room. People started gathering around the bird. I get out. Someone grabbed me and asked me if I'm a casualty. I said, no, I was an escort. They said, are you the corpsman? I said, yes. Come with me. I saw Seabourn coming out of the bird. He's been unconscious the whole time. I've got his gear. They take me to the entrance of the hospital, rolling in. The short-haired lady, an Air Force PT here, comes up. I do not remember her name, but I remember her name, her rank. She was a colonel, the head nurse there. She said, we got him. He's one of ours. They already knew he was coming, knew everything about him. Knew he was a medic. I've never been in a hospital where I felt comfortable until this day. The Air Force made me feel welcome. It made me feel like Seabourn was in the best hands possible. Doc was going to be okay. He was there to get stabilized. He was going straight to surgery. And I stored his gear.